Wizard players, you're going to be eating good with the new subclass Blade Singing. I'm going to refer to it as the Blade Singer, but just know we're talking about the same thing. Now there's a lot of nuance with this subclass, so we do have a lot to go over, so not too much preamble. I just need to say that this is for patch 8, the stress test, which is technically a beta, so it's not the full version, so not the final product here. Things may change. But yeah, let's go ahead and jump to the leveling section. And then of course at the end there, we'll have a gameplay section. So into the character creator here for Wizard, that's what we're going for. You can see my character, they got a weapon there. We'll talk a little bit about that later. Cantrip wise. So, oof, yeah. See Booming Blade there, so I have to take it. Other than that, I think the only new one is Bursting Sinew, and then, yeah, that's it for that. So really pick up whatever you need here. I'm just gonna go with Light and Minor Illusion, because this is going to be a melee wizard of sorts. So really, I think Booming Blade, it has us covered. So we can move on to spells. Now, spell-wise, I'm just gonna pick the spells, and then at level 2, we'll talk about kind of the play style with this, because it's there's a little nuance to it as far as what you kind of want to focus on. So I'm just gonna take Shield, I'll take Burning Hands, I will take Longstrider for just the utility. And then what else should I take? A Magic Missile is just always a go-to. I'm not sure if Mage Armor will even apply here, but we'll just grab it just in case. We can always switch it out. And really, that's about it. I don't know what else. Now, for the ability points here, you can see I have my strength up. That's because I'm going to be using a longsword. And I could use an elixir to bump up strength, but I kind of want to show the subclass basically as raw as possible, where there's not too many like additions coming from elixirs or items in general. And then other than that, intelligence, that's our spell modifier, so that's got to be high. Dexterity, I just don't want negative initiative. Same thing with wisdom saving throws, and constitution just for a little bit of survivability and to help with concentrations. But yeah, let's get on to level 2, where there's a lot to talk about, so let's get to it. So level 2 here, this is where we pick up our new subclass Blade Singing. I'm going to call it the Blade Singer probably throughout the video, so just know I'm meaning the same thing. Now for the subclass feature here, training in war and song. So you gain proficiency with light armor and in performance skills, and then you're also proficient with basically a weapon of choice. It lists out all the weapons there at the bottom, but no, you have to pick one here at this list. I already mentioned that I'm going to be picking up the longsword, so that's why we took strength, and then spell wise. So actually, do we need to go over? Yeah, let's go over the Blade Song first before we get into the spells, because kind of feeds into why I'm going to make the spell choices that I make. So for Blade Song here, this is your class action. So it doesn't take an action or a bonus action. You can just do this at any time, and I think it lasts for like 10 turns. But invoke the Blade Song. You gain +2 to your armor class. That's a nice addition there. Your movement speed is increased by 3 meters. Also, that's great. And then you also gain advantage in acrobatics and +2 to constitution saving throws. So that'll be nice for concentration spells. You also unlock Blade Song Climax, not that sort of climax, and the ability to accumulate Blade Song charges in combat. So this is going to be basically the bread and butter of this subclass in general, is this Blade Song Climax. We're essentially going to be able to build up this ability. It's a bonus action. Keep in mind that it's a bonus action, but every time we do a spell damage, we gain a charge of the Blade Song damage charge. And every time we use our melee weapon to strike, we get a healing charge. You kind of want to build into, again, a melee spellcaster. And then whenever you hit somebody with your sword, you're going to gain the ability to heal yourself when you use this climax ability. But obviously, we're all thinking about damage. So you want to be using spells, close range spells, preferably. Actually, it doesn't have to be close range spells, but just spell damage in general to build up these charges. So the idea is going to be to build up as many charges as possible, and then use the climax ability to do a crap ton of damage and heal yourself. And then once you use the climax, it'll end the Blade Song, obviously. As far as the charges go, it's a class action charge. So at level 2 here, we're going to have 2 Blade Song charges. At level 5, we pick up a 3rd charge, and then at level 9, we pick up the 4th charge. These charges only come back on long rest. And like I mentioned earlier, this Blade Song, this class action, only lasts for 10 turns. So if at all this sounded a little bit complicated, don't worry, in the gameplay section, we'll slow it down. You'll be able to see how many charges I'm accumulating, and then kind of like the play style. So let's go ahead, let's move to the spells. I'm going for a melee spellcaster type. So I want to be focusing on, again, close range spells, maybe some long ones. It really doesn't matter, because you're going to see when you use the Blade Song Climax, it actually gives you like, it's pretty reasonable as far as like you jump into like to doing the damage. So there's a little bit of a distance with it. It's not exactly just a melee thing. But just for the sake of speeding this up, I'm going to take Thunder Wave, and I'll just take Chromatic Orb. Obviously, as a wizard, you can't take all the spells that you collect. I think having something like Longstrider is always nice. It's just a ritual spell. And we'll take that. I want to see if, I don't know if Mage Armor is really going to matter here, because technically we are going to be wearing armor. So no, I don't think Mage Armor is going to work. Target can't be wearing armor. So we're going to be wearing light armor. So Mage Armor, it's not going to work. But yeah, let's move on to level 3. So at level 3, we pick up our level 2 spells. When I was initially looking at this, I was like, okay, so if this is synergizing with casting spells and then being able to do that climax, I want to take something like Misty Step or something that uses a bonus action. But then I realized the climax is a bonus action. So actually taking normal spells is completely fine. Something like Scorching Rays, that's a good pickup here. And then I think I saw something else. Oh yes, Shadow Blade. People have been talking about this one. This Shadow Blade, this gives you a Shadow Blade. That Shadow Blade does a crap ton of damage. It's really good. So maybe we'll show that off a little bit as well. I'll just take it for the sake of speeding things along, so we can move on to level 4. Level 4, we get another cantrip. I don't really think anything here is super important. Maybe just Mage Hand for utility, or maybe friends. Spell wise, I think we got what we really wanted. When I do a full build, I'm eventually going to do a full build on this subclass, because I do think it's that fun. We'll have it a little more well-rounded as far as like what spells you should be taking. I'm fine with all these prepared spells. Now, because we are going to be doing melee damage, or we're going to have that option, I'm going to take Great Weapon Master. Great Weapon Master does work with longswords, so we're going to get that 10 damage, which is going to be really nice for basically any melee weapon you're using that, again, that Great Weapon Master applies to. Level 5 here, more spells. Something like Counterspell, I think, is actually pretty crucial. Haste is also not a bad option, just to be able to give yourself more turns. It's a concentration. It's a really good concentration, so I think we'll take Haste as well. And we just want to make sure these two get slotted in, and we're good to go. So we can move on to level 6. Level 6, we're going to be picking up extra attack, so that's really handy. And then as far as the spells go, I think we got really what we wanted. Hell, well, heck, we'll just take a Fireball, and Lightning Bolt's also really good. But back at level 5, we did pick up our 3rd charge of Blade Song. It doesn't tell you in the level up screen here. Hopefully they fix that before release. But we can move on to level 7. At level 7 here, we're just picking up more spells. I'm going to take something like Fire Shield, and maybe Confusion's nice to have. I want to get a big AoE damage too, so I'll pick up Ice Storm as well. Something about wizards they are like a jack of all trades. They do basically a lot with their magic as far as like Arcane Unlock. They have a bunch of concentrations. They can basically do it all. It's just sorcerers, if we're going to compare them against another spellcasters, sorcerers just have meta magic, which is completely busted. So that's why I usually gravitate towards sorcerer. But with Blade Singing here, oof, sorcerer, you might be in for some stiff competition. So let's move on to level 8. In level 8, we do pick up more spells. I think I have what I want to basically test this out for now. I think I'm good on what spells I have. We just need to make sure that we have the correct ones applied. Maybe we don't need Thunder Wave now. It's a nice push ability. Let's just get rid of it now and get Fire Shield. I think Fire Shield's going to synergize with this pretty well. And as far as feats go, I'm going to take Alert, I think, because our dexterity is pretty low. Obviously, if you would have chosen a weapon that scales off dexterity, that might be a little bit better, but I do like longswords. There is a longsword. I forget which one it is that does scale with dexterity as well, but the one I'm using does not. It's strength based. And then obviously ability improvement for intelligence. I'll probably go with that for now. And then at level 12, I will take I'll take Alert for higher initiative, because I think this subclass is good enough to go into basically the encounter that I have set up and just wipe the floor all on their own. So we're going to try that out, and let's move on to level 9. So at level 9, again, it doesn't tell you, but this is where you gain your last spell song charge. So for multi-classing purposes, that might be something to keep in mind. We do get our level 5 spells here. I'm looking at what might be a good one. Oh, yeah, here we go. Cone of Cold. This is like a nice shotgun blast. And then what else do I want with it? Maybe Telekinesis. That's a concentration. I'm not sure I want to be using that right now. I don't want to bog myself down with too many concentrations. Conjure Elemental. So another thing about these Blade Song charges, they only work when you're in combat. So it's not like something you can prep ahead of time. So keep that in mind too, because maybe somebody was thinking like, oh, I'll just take all these other ones and like prep up, you know, all these charges of Bladesong and then go in like super juiced. No, it's got to be in combat. So what else are we going to take? Maybe actually we do just grab Misty Step, because that's a nice mobility option. I don't want to use Banishment. Let's get Cone of Cold in there. I don't want to use Blight. Let's get Misty Step in there. And then let's get on to level 10. So at level 10, we do pick up another subclass feature, Song of Defense. When you take damage during your Bladesong, so that's your class action that we're going to be working with, you can expend a spell slot to subtract 5 damage per spell slot. So this is a nice defensive, basically, reaction to have. Not bad for survivability. I don't know how much I'm going to want to spend like a level 6 or level 5 spell slot to subtract more damage. Actually, that would be a lot. That's not bad. You know what? We're gonna see how that works. Cantrip wise, nothing important here. Again, I think we got what we really wanted. I'll just pick Friendship for now. I'm not worried about these right now. I'm just gonna skip over them, and we can move on to level 11. And then for spells, I think we do have some new things here. Odaluk's Freezing Sphere. This is new. I don't remember this being here, so I want to try that out. Oh wait, they have another one too. Okay. And then we have Wall of Ice. Wall of Ice is a new one as well, but if it's anything like Wall of Fire, I just want to check that. Oh, that does a lot more damage. Okay, maybe we're going to check that out as well. Chain Lightning is always really good too. But if we're just choosing new things in this video to show off, let's take these two, and then I just want to see the animation, because obviously, I mean, 10 to 60 damage, that's a lot. But this one, 20 to 120, shoot, man, that is really good. What is the condition here? When the ice wall is broken, it leaves behind a cloud of frigid air that deals 10 to 60 damage per turn to creatures within. That is going to be fun to play with, I feel like. Okay, so let's at least show that off and see what it looks like, because that sounds pretty good. All right, let's move on to level 12. Man, I'm all of a sudden getting excited for Wizard. What is happening here? So we're going to take Chain Lightning. I just love Chain Lightning. It's so good. It's such a fun ability too. And then maybe Globe of Invulnerability. I know Globe of Invulnerability has some really good uses, but you do get a bunch of scrolls that means you don't really need to take this spell. But I'll just take it for the sake of the video so we can move on to the gameplay section and really show off what we're working with here. Said I was going to pick up Alert, so we'll take Alert, and then yeah, let's jump into the gameplay section. All right, and then for the gameplay section here, let's really quickly go over gear. I have the Browbeaten Circlet. This is just going to help with spell save dice checks, Cloak of Protection, a little bit more armor. I think I have Crusher's Ring, movement speed, Ring of Protection, more armor. The Elegant Studded Leathers, higher initiative, give us a shield reaction. Sword-wise, I have a long sword, but I'm going to switch it out for the Blackguard sword. And then I also want to see, so we're taking this hand crossbow because it gives you Scorching Ray. I want to see that if weapon spells, if it also basically works with Bladesong here. So in the early game, hopefully you can see my bar. It's pretty clean. So this is what you're going to be working with at level 2. And so really quick, let's just read over again. Invoke the Bladesong. You gain +4 to your armor class. Your movement speed is increased by 3 meters. And you also gain advantage on acrobatics, +4 to your Constitution saving throws. So this scales up as you level up. That's nice to know. And then when we use this ability, it unlocks Bladesong Climax and the ability to accumulate Bladesong charges. Those charges are what I was talking about earlier, where if we make a melee attack, it'll give us a healing charge. If we use a spell, it'll boost up our damage. So before we get into the fight, let's just look what it looks like. Oh, look at you. Look at you, Master Wizard, with your sword. That is how a wizard would use a sword. Anyways. So we do have our charges up here. Probably should put it in turn-based mode so I don't go through all the charges. But you can see on the side here, it unlocks the Climax ability. And it is a bonus action. And it kind of breaks down what it's going to do as far as unleashing damage and healing effects upon Bladesong once used. So you can see we have a pretty good range on it. This is why I said that you don't necessarily need spells that are like melee range. I just think it kind of fits with the theme a little bit better. But you could do range damage as far as spells, and then you could just jump in with this thing. So using spells, again, spells are going to bump up the damage. And then just swinging the sword, I'm wondering if Booming Blade counts as just swinging the sword. We'll see how that interacts, see what kind of charge it gives us. But that's the bread and butter. So if it sounded really complicated, just know that's how it's really going to break down. And you don't get very many charges of these. I mean, I had 4. Now I have 3 because I'm using one, obviously. And they do come back on long rests. You got to keep that in mind. And then before we get into the fight, I kind of want to look at Ice Wall. See what this does. Okay, so it just does the same thing as Firewall as far as you cast it, and then it really you just paint a target. And then I guess if they're in it, it'll explode and then do more damage to anybody who's still in there. That sounds pretty sweet. I really want to dive into that, but maybe this isn't the video for it. So, and then Autolux Freezing Sphere here, we got 2 choices. We can either basically, so create a vessel for the Freezing Sphere to put in your pocket, give it to an ally or throw it away. It'll explode in 10 turns. Kind of like a freezing bomb. That seems pretty funny. I like that. I can imagine going into multiplayer and then giving one of your teammates this and them not knowing, and then it just explodes on them. That'd be funny. Or you can launch the ball and it'll explode and damage all creatures within the object's range. So pretty nice spell. We're gonna see how that is in combat. And then last thing I want to show off is Shadow Blade. Upscaling Shadow Blade will give it more damage. So let's upscale this all the way. Now we have the Shadow Blade. I just hit my short rest button. That's my bad. So this is nice. We don't have to do, there's no concentration. We just straight up get this. And you have advantage on attack rolls against lightly or heavily obscured targets when using this blade. That's really cool. Maybe I should have went with Dagger, but it just goes into your inventory. Okay, Shadow Blade people, I see that you've been mentioning this, and I'm catching on. This seems really good. Okay, we'll work with that another time. Let's get into the combat, and we'll see what this class can do. All right, and the only prep skills we're going to be doing is Longstrider. I think we'll cast Haste on ourselves as well. I think this is a concentration we want to focus on, and then. Yeah, it's probably about it. I don't want to use Elixir of Strength just because I want to show this without being too juiced. Look at you, you little wizard holding your sword. That's cute. Wizards are so silly. All right, so where to begin? Let's go ahead and cast Fire Shield on ourselves. Let's do fire damage. And then upcasting this really doesn't make... I love how he sits here. He's like, yeah, I'm a wizard. Now I have a sword. Anyway, so we'll use that. So that's an action. So, okay, we already made mistake number 1. We need to use Blade Song first. So it's definitely an opener. Doesn't take an action, doesn't take a bonus action. And the charge, we'll just do it again. Actually, we'll redo it. We'll do it live. And so we have 4. So it's a level 4 spell. You can see on the left, we gained 1 Blade Song damage charge. And it has 1 turn remaining. Is that going to fall off, I guess is my question. So let's take a look at this again. I'm guessing that it will fall off. I think the play would be to cast 2 spells, would have been to cast 2 spells, and then we got 2 charges. So we're doing a little bit of learning here as well. If we use a bonus action, that is also probably going to give us a charge, but then we're not going to be able to use Blade Song Climax. I'm just thinking out loud at this point, because as you can see, there's a lot to unpack as far as like, I think taking Thief as a subclass to get an additional bonus action, not a bad play for this. So the wheels are starting to turn a little bit. But anyways, let's continue on. This first turn of mine, not the greatest, not the best showing, but we'll be okay. So let's let the enemy just have their turn, and then we'll see what happens. Come on in, y'all. Okay, so we got a reaction here. So let's see if using shield will give us another charge. I can't tell while they're all attacking me. Doesn't say it in the log over here on the right, but we will obviously check when it's our turn to see where we're at. And nobody's been able to hit me, by the way. What is our armor class? Is at 23. That's pretty good. We still have 1 charge. I'm curious if that charge is from the shield reaction. Let's clear out some of these enemies. How about that? Let's do that. Cone of Cold. Let's just hit them where it hurts. So now we have 2 charges. We might as well juice this up and then just hit him again. Let's go with Burning Hands here. So we have 3 charges. So with 3 charges, this should do a pretty decent amount of damage. It says it's going to provoke Opportunity Strike, but we're really tanky. Let's just see if we can get them all in the same little bubble. Song of Defense. Ooh. I wonder if using this spell slot will also basically be adding to our charges over there. So right now we have 3. Let's see if this adds another one. We'll just subtract. They're not going to hurt us very much, are they? we'll just do 2. Okay, so no, that did not apply another damage charge. That's okay. Oh god, I almost just canceled it. Okay, let's get them all on again, and then they're really afraid that this is gonna hurt them. Okay, not bad as far as the damage. What are they failing for saving throws? So it's good that they're failing it. That's great. And then, did I get healed at the end there? I don't think I did. I got a self-heal. And then looking at the log, I also failed a saving throw. Oh, okay. So looking at this, Blade Song's Climax. If I win this saving throw, does Blade Song Climax, does it stay? And then it doesn't get used up? We're going to take a look at that. We're going to try to replicate that again to see how that works. And then looking at the damage we just did, you guys can tell me if I'm missing something. It seems like we didn't use all of our charges. And if we did, either we rolled really low or something's not working as intended. Yeah, it's just right here. It doesn't seem like I want to see more of the calculations as far as what every individual charge rolled and then how we got to the 16. Because you can see that all of them rolled pretty low. Interesting. Okay. So we will move on. We'll cast Blade Song again, and hopefully we can succeed this saving throw, and maybe Blade Song then stays. And I do apologize for all the reading. I'm learning this subclass as we're going now, and I'm trying to make it kind of digestible for others who basically haven't tried out this subclass yet. It's a really interesting subclass. There's just a lot to, I feel like, break down at the moment. And then because it's a beta as well, we're not sure if everything's working as intended. So using that shield, so I had a shield reaction go off as well. It did not give me another charge. So I want to test some things here. Let's go ahead and just start spending some spell slots again. Hopefully we don't kill everything. Let's try to just mitigate the amount of enemies we have, but also keep them relatively alive. Let's use a Misty Step to gain some distance. So we got that third charge. You can see we just got 3 charges of the Blade Song. Let's go ahead and end our turn. I want to see if it stays. Because if it doesn't stay, then it kind of is. You want to build up those charges really quick and then just use the climax. So yes, these charges remain. So 3 turns remaining. I'm not sure if this is working correctly. Maybe you guys can correct me. I'm going to be saying that probably it's kind of hard to tell if everything's working as intended, but we're going to keep building up Blade Song charges, which I'm just going to try to have like a really big climax. That's fun to say. Let's get a healing charge off. We got Booming Blade here. How have I ignored you, Booming Blade? Not a bad chance to hit. Oof. That's strong. That's nice. Yeah, we have a lot of... So that gave us a healing charge, so you can see that there. And then, of course, we picked up extra attack at level 6. So this is going to be a good melee character just in general, just to have Booming Blade. It's a lot of damage, especially when you put on Great Weapon Master again. That's why I'm taking a long sword. We have another bat here. We're just going to hit the werewolf here. We're going to get our critical off. And then, yeah, we have a bonus action to consider now as well. But we're just going to teleport away. Again, we're just going to be building up charges. We're at 5 right now. And then I just want to ensure that these things are staying, basically. Him running over, he just got hit with 11 thunder damage because of Booming Blade. Dude, this thing's so busted. It's so good. Let's see here. It looks like both these charges stayed with because we hit 2 Booming Blades, so there's 2 charges remaining, and we still have the 5 there. So I don't think the time remaining you see there, I don't think that's actually counting down. So it does seem like you can just build up the entire encounter and then just have one big climax. So let's go ahead and try to climax again, and I want to see if I can get that saving throw and then see what it does, because last time we failed it. And then we're using Song of Defense. They are trying to hit me, but that's not going to work. Let's get in there. So we saved. We succeeded the saving throw. What did that do for us? I guess is what I'm looking at. Yeah, we lost Blade Song again. So definitely, if you guys know something I don't about this and what is actually rolling here for my saving throw, let me know, because it's not coming to me right now, essentially. But I think we can just go ahead and finish the fight with some booming hits. I do like this just for the Booming Blade in general. I think this is really strong. And something I need to also check out is, do Eldritch Knights also get Booming Blade now? Because that'd be pretty nutty. I'd be a fan of that. And we're just cleaning up our rate. We'll probably finish off with one last climax, as one should. Saying that that's fun to say. And we save that one too. Not sure, but yeah, that's the subclass. Obviously, a lot going on with this subclass. Some of the things I don't fully understand, like what I am rolling for as far as Bladesong Climax, because I have failed it and I've succeeded it. I don't entirely know what it's referring to. But there actually is one last thing I want to check out really quick. Let's go ahead and hit that reload. So the last thing I did want to check out was if Scorching Ray, if a equipment spell does synergize with the Bladesong. So it doesn't look like Shield actually does. So having that reaction and using a spell doesn't apply to Bladesong. Let's see if using equipment spells does. Don't want to kill them, or do I? Let's just get one off. Okay, so it does apply a Bladesong charge, and something like Scorching Ray that has multiple hits doesn't do like multiple charges. So keep that in mind as well. Anyways, this was a much longer video, but this subclass was, I didn't really know what I was getting into. So hopefully I did an okay job explaining it to you all. But yeah, next up, hopefully it's a little bit of a simpler subclass. And yeah, I will see you guys then. Peace and take care.